What up, all of you admirable admirals? Helldivers 2 just got a thick update and I wanted to get hands-on with all the in-game changes, so here we are. Why don't we kick things off with one I have a lot to say about, the Spear, which got the following buff. Increased the number of missiles you restore from supply boxes from 1 to 2. Not to immediately start chugging the haterade, because there is a lot to be happy about with this patch that we will get into, I assure you. But in the meantime, whoop-de-frickin-do. Let me ask you a question. If a gun gets an ammo pickup buff, but still has the stupidest, glitchiest, worst lock-on mechanic that randomly doesn't work half the time, is it really a buff at all? Look, when the Spear works, it works. Using it to 2-tap a Bile Titan is a great feeling. But again, half the time it just refuses to lock onto a target, like a toddler refusing to eat their vegetables. And with that in mind, why in the name of God and Joel would I ever consider using the Spear when the expendable anti-tank is a thing? Because the EAT doesn't need to lock on. You can aim it freely, meaning you can hit a charger directly in the face and kill it immediately. But the Spear locks on, meaning you can't choose where on the charger it'll hit, meaning you could hit it in the side and not flat out kill it right away. That, combined with the fact that it also takes up your backpack option, and again, the horribly glitched lock-on mechanic, and the fact that the EAT cooldown is a ludicrous 1 minute, meaning you can flat out litter the map with them, all adds up to the fact that the EAT hard bullies the Spear in every category. Whew, deep breath. If Arrowhead ever fixes the lock-on situation, I'll be first in line to give it a second chance, because it needs that fix badly. But until then, I kinda don't care. Moving on, the Ark Thrower, which saw the following changes. Fixed inconsistencies, reduced overall range by a fair amount, and increased stagger force. I gotta be honest, I'm kinda confused why this change was made at all. I don't know a lot of people who even use the Ark Thrower to begin with. It's kind of like Arrowhead out here picking on the already unpopular kid. Aside from the drop in range, the changes should be good, but it didn't really feel that great to me. I learned a little bit later that there are reports already that the damage output accidentally got lowered with the patch. Overall, pretty sad news for the Ark Chads out there. Here's hoping the gun gets the love it deserves so players can keep accidentally killing their friends as much as they did when the gun first debuted. Next, why don't we jump around the list a bit and talk about the Breaker Incendiary shotgun, which got a pretty good glow up. More damage per bullet from 15 to 20, which, reminder, many bullets per each trigger pull of the gun. On top of that, fire damage in general got the damage per tick bumped up by 50% from all sources. Now, while I didn't really feel the hype when fighting automatons with the Incendiary Breaker, on bugs, way different story. This gun genuinely may be now in the top 3 of my favorite bug killing weapons. You really feel the difference when shooting into a clump of enemies. Good damage right up front and excellent overall crowd control. Even the medium armor hive guards get ripped up and burned to death by the fire breaker on high level difficulty. If you haven't fiddled with that gun yet post patch, gonna hard recommend you try bringing one to your next Terminated mission with the boys. And while we're on the topic of fire, that plus 50% per damage tick is a pretty nifty buff to every other weapon or stratagem in the game designed to burn. Folks out there who rock the Incendiary Grenade, Incendiary Mines, and especially the Eagle Napalm Airstrike are all eating good right now. I chucked an Eagle Napalm Airstrike onto a freshly opened bug breach and racked up a 40 plus kill tally from the lingering fire damage alone. Good lord. That extra fire damage is no joke. I'm really going to strongly consider adding the Napalm Eagle into my main bug loadout rotation for the ability to plug breaches immediately. By the way, if you're thinking, hey, he forgot the flamethrower. No, he did not. Sadly, I still don't really find myself caring much about the flamethrower, even with the overall fire buff. I hate how it requires you to be so close to the enemy to be good at all. Automatons will just outrange you with gunfire, and the bugs will just swarm you while on fire. I really think the flamethrower needs some kind of wild range buff in order for me to care about it. But if you're a dirty little pyro, go out there and make Ralph Wiggum proud.
He told me to burn things.
Moving on, why don't we talk about one that really broke my heart, and that is the changes made to the Slugger shotgun.
Look how they massacred my boy.
Reduced stagger, reduced damage, and reduced demolition force. Woof. The last one, by the way, fixing the armor penetration tag in the menu, I mean, that's fine. Yay, now we all know it handles medium armor. We kinda already figured that out. But again, the other stuff, goddamn. All things considered, I guess the Slugger could have been hit a lot harder considering how incredibly good it was on paper. I still feel like it's viable in both bug and robot missions, but unfortunately it definitely did feel like it was a tad watered down. I think the reduced stagger is what hurt it the most. You can still really dish out the damage, and it has pretty good range considering it is a shotgun, but yeah, I definitely wouldn't say stop using it altogether. It's still viable. It's more of a personal gut punch than anything else. But why don't we turn that frown upside down and talk about the changes to the Antimaterial Rifle, which got a 30% damage buff. Hell yeah. I put out a video not too long ago talking about how fun I think the Antimat Rifle is on automaton missions, but if you haven't tried out the gun yet, now is definitely the time. This is just a straight up situation of anti-mat mains rejoice, and everyone else should be encouraged to jump into the pool with them. I'm not too wild about it on bug missions, but it's still very fun on automatons. Gotta give that gun a whirl. Next up, we got the Guard Dog Rover, which now restores full ammo from supply boxes. If you're already a fan of the dog, this is good news for you. I don't know if this change will make me straight up want to be a dog main. First game I tried out with the updated Rover, it literally shot me right in the back of the head, reminding me why I don't really use it to begin with. I guess I just don't got that dog in me. I'd rather use the jetpack or the shield generator, but overall, a good change for those out there who enjoy the Rover. Here's one I absolutely was not expecting to be as good as it was. The Dominator might be tied with the Breaker Incendiary for best overall glow up with the patch. The damage got upped from 200 to 300 and the gun got increased stagger. I'm being completely honest with you when I tell you that the Dominator is now a top tier primary weapon choice when fighting automatons, literally right up there shoulder to shoulder with the Plas 1 Scorcher. The extra damage is majorly noticeable and the stagger is great. Shooting those big annoying shield wielding devastators and watching them stagger from the god tier flinch is really satisfying. The Plas 1 Scorcher admittedly remains the better option for dealing with striders, as you can kill them by shooting the armor straight on, relying on the tiny explosion damage to kill the guy behind the shield. The Dominator can't do that as well, but because it can handle medium armor, you can use it to shoot a strider's legs to deal with them. Or, you know, you can just shoot them from a different angle. But while the Plas 1 has the strider advantage, the big advantage the Dominator has is the far better ammo capacity. If you love using the Plas 1 on automatons but get annoyed at how frequently you either have to reload mid-gunfight or how quickly you run out of ammo, you 100% need to give the Dominator a try. It is awesome in bot missions now and should not be slept on. Next up, we have the Diligence Counter Sniper, which can now handle medium armor. Gotta tell ya, I absolutely despise this fucking gun. Now, I could be an outlier. You could love this gun, and if you do, I wish you all the best with the buff, but it has such bad handling and feels so sluggish and terrible, I don't recommend touching it at all. Go ahead and wake me up if Arrowhead ever gives that gun heavy armor penetration, which they would never do. Next, we got the Liberator Penetrator with a really straightforward update, now has a full auto mode. I really wish they would give the Lib Pen a deeper mag, because I really like using it, but find myself running dry on ammo kinda quick. Anyway, if you're a fan of the gun, enjoy the change, albeit a minor one. The recoilless rifle increased the number of rockets you restore from supply boxes from 2 to 3. Cool. Even though I think the EAT is extremely good right now, I could see the re-rifle stepping up to the plate if and when the 1 minute EAT cooldown gets a nerf. I do think the gun is worth using right now though, even though it does eat up your backpack option, that also means you have room for one more offensive stratagem in your back pocket. Also, not for nothing, it does let you freely aim, unlike some other rocket launching stratagems I could mention. Next up, the heavy machine gun got its rate of fire reduced from 1200 to 950 RPM. Kind of a burf situation there, aka a buff and a nerf. Yeah, the fire rate got turned down, which is kind of annoying, but the more you think about it, the 1200 RPM version of the gun really kicked like a son of a bitch. So really, at the end of the day, 950 makes it much more manageable. Overall, I think the heavy machine gun is fun, but I like weapon stratagems that help me deal with heavy armor, which the heavy machine gun does not. But you do you. The Patriot exosuit rockets will now penetrate armor only on a direct hit. If you're a mech fan, I wouldn't worry about this change much at all. It's still super hot fire in bug missions, and I recommend using it highly, especially on eradicate missions where it really shines. Moving on to a change I really like. Heavy and medium armor now better protects your Helldiver, and you take 10% less damage than before when wearing heavy, and 5% less damage than before when wearing medium. I'm already a big fan of medium armor, so this is nothing but straight dubs across the board. I definitely felt less squishy out in the field, and I can only imagine the heavy armor fans are also really enjoying the change. No change to light armor, but kinda understandable, as the whole point there is to move fast but be very squishy. The Ballistic Shield got a few nice changes with the overall goal of just making it better in general. With that shield and heavy armor, I was able to tank 2 automaton rockets dead on, which is hilarious and kind of a fun little power fantasy. However, at the end of the day, I still think that the Ballistic Shield is kind of a meme at high levels of play. I really want it to become meta one day, but I don't think today is that day. If I were maybe able to use it in combination with the jetpack or other backpack options, that would be a completely different story. It's just so hard to willingly equip the Ballistic Shield when the shield generator pack exists. To wrap things up, I want to quickly talk about one particular enemy change. A lot of them are straightforward. For example, bile spewers do less damage with their puke. But one change in particular I'd seen some confusion on. The Bile Titan can no longer be stunned. That doesn't mean they can't be staggered, aka if you hit them with an orbital rail cannon or something, they will stagger and stumble. That change means you can no longer stop them in their tracks with a stun grenade, which was an incredibly effective, borderline broken tactic. Unfortunate, but expected. What are you gonna do? There's more minor changes and stuff in the patch notes, but I'll let you read those on your own. I really wanted to just cover the major in-game stuff. Hope the summary helped, and let me know what you think of those changes down in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching. Peace!